Good evening and welcome to the final event for the SMRC Winter Cup, a series by the SMRC, powered by Reese Motorsport Insurance and presented by Sim Broadcast. I'm Duncan, Vincent. I'm joined by Andy Alston in our virtual commentary box. And tonight, what better way to sign off than at our spiritual home, Knockhill Racing Circuit in TCR Cars. We are on Knockhill. We are on Facebook, for the SMRC. We're also on YouTube and on Twitch. It's been a 3-week, it's been a 3-round. It's been a 3-week as well, Andy Alston. 3-week extravaganza for us from Norway to America and back to Knockhill. The championship couldn't be any closer. We've got two guys tied at the top of the points, Fraser Williamson and Michael Weddle, with Mike Belush in third place. Only 5 points adrift. Andy Alston, where's the time gone? Time flies when you're having fun.
Absolutely, yeah. It is great to be back, and what a show we have in store for you at this one. The battle for this Winter Cup is wide open, as you say, and where else but Knockhill to decide who lifts this trophy.
We have got an onboard lap for you guys. It's Fraser Williamson who we're going to take a little bit of a look at. And he'll give us a look what it's like to go around Knockhill Racing Circuit. In iRacing, you've got to watch what you do with track limits. So let's jump on board with the man who was dominant at Road Atlanta, and dominant he was. And let's see if he can do this at Knockhill. Into Duffus Dip, maximum commitment over the crest of Duffus Dip, down through Leslie's, braking for McIntyre's, get the car slowed down. Do not run wide on the exit the corner here. And Fraser Williamson goes down through Butcher's, almost a non-event, that little right-hander, before you grab the car by the scruff of the neck. And there's a few bollards that would have been flying going through the chicane as we are already at Clark Corner. The lap reels off extremely quick here at Knockhill Racing Circuit before we come through Clark Corner, head towards the hairpin, through Hislops, a big long left-hander. This lap looking very good for Fraser. It will be a 51.8. Pick a braking marker, pop, 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 pop down the gears, back to the apex, and then try and get that steering lock off as quickly as you can in these cars. Front wheel drive if they are, and accelerate up the hill towards the line. 51.8, and Andy Alston, I could barely commentate the lap. It was happening that fast. Is that what it feels like when you're behind the wheel?
Well, it was a very, very aggressive line through the chicane in particular there from Fraser. And it's one of those ones as well. Of course, the drivers have 4 different cars available to choose from here. There are 2 Audis. We've got the Honda Civic Type R and, of course, the Audi RS3 as well. We suspect most drivers will gravitate towards the Hyundais, the Veloster and Elantra, both available to them. And we think, the Hyundai seems to ride the curbs a little bit better. The Audi's got a lot of straight line speed, but just struggles a little bit through the lap. The Honda doesn't seem too fond of the curbs at all. So it'll be interesting to see what approach the drivers take for this one. And I'm sure we're set for lots of drama either way.
Our Reese Motorsport Insurance Driver of the Day award is also up for grabs. Let's see who could put themselves in the fray for this the award this time. We've got to say, last time at Road Atlanta, we went into the last race, myself, Andy Alston, and the guys back at Sim Broadcast. We're having a good old chat about it off air. We had people such as Peter Mackay, who was punching way above his weight in the Porsche, the Cayman, and it was just the way it all unfolded for Peter in the last race. It was a bit of a disaster that he probably doesn't want us to remind him of, but we're going to anyway. John Higgins Jr., another one who was in great form, arriving to the championship late. He missed the first round in Norway, but we do see him this week. And you can see the championship points here, 160 points apiece for Williamson and Weddle. Mike Belush just 5 points adrift with 155. Matthew McBride still in with an outside chance. And Jack Ayre, yes, he probably needs an earthquake, but he is there. Jack Ayre is there again, a man who had sim or iRacing issues, we should say, at Road Atlanta. It didn't work out for Jackie. He disconnected just before the race actually got underway. But looking forward to seeing some cars on track here at Knockhill Racing Circuit for what will be qualifying for the final round of this SMRC eSports Winter Cup. And straight away, it's Mike Belush who we can see on track here. The man who arrived in the championship with Ronald Grossman. And Ronald Grossman, a man who comes with a fair bit of form and history around Knockhill, with Peter Mackay. And I'm not picking on Peter at all here, but it should be interesting to see just how these guys all get their teeth and their claws into Knockhill. Fraser Williamson, as you can see, on track once again, the SRC Movano Corsa driver, the thorn in the side for the Rethink Racing team. That's what we have to say about Fraser Williamson. He is something pretty special. And recently, I've seen on his social media, he was driving the BMW LMDH hypercar in an event in Europe. So Fraser Williamson does get into various different types of cars. But a 51.6 for Williamson so far. That's faster, Andy, than his onboard lap that you showed us with the 51.8.
It is indeed, and we think the reason for that will be the clock in iRacing is set a little bit later than what it normally is in these races. So what we think is going to happen here is it'll take around it would normally take around 5 minutes or so for these tyres to get up to temperature. Of course, the drivers have got a maximum of 4 flying laps here in qualifying. So what we think is going to happen now as we move into the final couple of minutes is the lap times will begin to get faster and faster. And we're already seeing that there with Matthew McBride going up into 4th place, just 0.2 of a second behind Williamson's pole position lap. So expect the last couple of minutes to be very, very lively. But currently, Fraser Williamson leads the way.
Stuart McFadden back in the driving seat and looks like a proper privateer there with his white car, which is good to see as John Higgins Jr. in the HSR racing car comes through here. John Jr., well, yeah, he's down south. A little bit of oversteer going in towards McIntyre's there. Dad, John Higgins, so good they named him twice. He's in Lanzarote on holiday. But he's still helping Junior out with the help at home. The phone has been ringing from Junior to Senior. And let's see how Junior gets on. He arrived at Road Atlanta almost a new man in sim racing. We've seen him before in these championships, and he has done pretty well, but he would always have something go wrong, but he was very much on form at Road Atlanta. Lauren Murray, a man who we know from Real World Racing in the Fiesta ST Championship, in towards the hairpin there. He is in one of the Hyundais. A little bit of gravel and grass on the exit of the corner, but Lauren Murray, a man, Andy, who you've done a few post-race interviews with in 2022, I would imagine.
Yeah, Lauren's a very, very fast driver, and it's great to see him here on the iRacing platform. And he's one who I think's certainly been enjoying the experience, and just a little bit wider, just coming out of Duffus. And in fact, he's just got lost the rear end ever so slightly off. He goes, that's an off track, so unfortunately that lap will not stand for Lauren. Scott Malcolm in the top 10 as well, with 0.7 of a second behind Fraser Williamson, and Scott's another driver with plenty of pace, and he'll be keen to try and make a strong impression here in the final round. A couple of drivers I just note that are in pit lane, so they've already had their 4 allocated laps, as we've got a minute or so left in this session. Matthew McBride just about to try and get one more lap in, possibly as well. Drivers lapping here around 51.6 at the top, all the way through to looking at high 53s. So it is quite a tight field, this one. And that man there, Michael Weddle, currently 8th place. He'll be looking to get a fast lap in here to start this one strongly.
19 cars within a second of each other. Twin Cam Knowles in 19th, the last person 9/10 of a second. Adam Morrison, the first person just outside that in 20th. Saoirse Fitzpatrick not on the top 25 on screen, but somebody who's been extremely fast in previous outings. No doubt we'll see her arriving someplace, maybe a little bit late. That's a great shame that Saoirse's not showing in this session, as we have Sam Harper parking the car on the grass straight between the chicane and Clarkson. Somebody does a start underneath the bridge, which is never the greatest thing to do. But yeah, Stuart McFadden, who was completely dressed in white. Well, the good guys are always dressed in white, or are they dressed in black? Because Stuart McFadden's gone into P2 300ths of a second behind Fraser Williamson, with Matthew McBride in third. Michael Weddle, man who's chasing a championship, in 4th place, but only a 10th of a second the wrong way from where he needs to be. Qualifying is over. So that will be our top 5, as we have just given you. Williamson and McFadden on the front row, with McBride and Flymo. Michael Weddle in second. In the second row, Ronald Grossman, John Higgins Jr., Adam Brown and Mike Peluche, with Cameron Ritchie, Mike Johnston, Lauren Murray and Adam Kindness, a great 12th place, running out the front page of our grid.
It's Sam Harper alongside Cam Knowles. Scott Malcolm starts from 15th alongside James McIntosh. Gaz Brown is 17th alongside David Bolton. It's Ryan Smith, Adam Morrison, Sam Corzin, Sean Dobie, Peter Mackay and Leah Anderson.
Behind Leah Anderson, we have got Del Smith, Cameron Bryden all the way down in 25th place, and then Chris Humphreys in 27th place. Peter Mackay complaining that he's too slow on the text chat already, and he's been dumped by his sponsor Hellman, so that's a little bit of a worry for Peter Mackay. Things definitely not going his way. But here we are, we're at Knockhill. Well, it's the final round of our Winter Cup. Where has all the fun gone? It's been fabulous to have you guys on board for the ride. So strap yourself in for 3 action-packed races. The way the clock timer has gone here, our third race should have us racing into some beautiful dusk at Knockhill. Now, I was there today. Trust me, there's about 1.5 inches of snow covering the place. It doesn't look like it is on screen just now, but there is no chance of weather or inclement snow coming in for us today. Andy Alston and Duncan Vincent here in the commentary box. We will bring you all the action along with our sim broadcast guys. Fraser Williamson is on pole from Stuart McFadden. I do like the white car from McFadden. The lights starting to come on, a full complement of lights. Here we go. Down towards Duffus, and what a start from McFadden. What a start from Williamson. Bad start from McFadden. He's going nowhere, and it looks like Michael Weddle and Matthew McBride is starting to eat into that already. McFadden down to third place. There was a contact going through turn number one. Yes, there was, but Williamson, who leads at the front just now. Fraser already with a 9/10 of a second lead on this first lap, and that's something that we've never seen before. But he absolutely aced the start as everybody else jumps through the chicane for the first time of asking that black circle chicane before they climb up towards Clark's for lap number one.
Yeah, and we've just got one car's just been tagged coming out the exit chicane as well. I think that is Adam Kindness, who goes well down the order there after a little bit of contact, trying to get the car back on track, and there it is there. Looks like a little bit of damage potentially to the rear of the car, so he just pulls the car off to the right-hand side and takes a tow into pit lane. But back at the front, Fraser Williamson leading by half a second, but he's got Michael Weddle hot on his heels, who's already made up 2 places in this opening lap. And there's a little bit of a gap now beginning to develop just further through the field, and Mike Palush looking to make a move there up the inside. Not quite close enough this time round, but there's lots of drama already. Cam Knowles up 5 places from where he started, currently in 9th as well, so he's had a strong drive. But there is further contact just on the entry to the chicane. I think that was Adam Brown involved there, but all the cars managing to just stay through unscathed. But Ronald Grossman unfortunately gone wide now as well, Duncan. This is it. The tyres are beginning to get up to pressure. Oh, dearie me. Ronald Grossman is tagged at Clark's, and off he goes. Disastrous couple of corners from him. I believe that's Cam Knowles involved as well. But yes, Duncan, not a good lap at all there. Lots of drama to unfold.
That went horribly wrong for Ronald Grossman on that lap. A little bit of contact with Adam Brown at Butchers, and then huge contact for Twin Cam at Clark's into the back of Ronald Grossman. But at the front, it's gone from 5/10 down to 3/10. The half-second lead has now gone down to almost 2/10 of a second. Fraser Williamson is under attack from Michael Weddle. Michael should know this track just that little bit better. In the real world he does, but in the sim world, well, Fraser's probably done just as much more contact going in there. Round goes Scott Malcolm through no fault of his own into the gravel. Adam Morrison, giving him help, and somebody else turned round. That's Adam Morrison into the recticel, and the back wheel was broken off that car as they go in towards the chicane. Well, it's all happening in the early stages of this race, but back at the front, it's all about these two here, and it looks like Michael Weddle now starting to put a bit of a manoeuvre on Fraser Williamson round the outside of the hairpin. Can Weddle get the drive up the main straight and take that lead as they go over the crest of the hill? Well, right now it's Fraser Williamson who's on the inside line as they go under the Beatson's Building Supply Bridge. He just gives Weddle enough racing room and a little bit of respect there as they both go over the crest of Duffus Dip, and it's as you were into McIntyre's. You cannot afford to run wide through McIntyre's there, or you will get one of these excursion warnings on your driving standards as they both take a whole heap of curb going through the chicane, Andy Alston. They seem to get away with that as more shenanigans in the mid-pack. That's John Higgins Jr. involved with somebody going through the McIntyre's area. Andy didn't pick up exactly who that was, but that's the thing with Knockhill. It's so tight and twisty, you have to watch and you have to keep your nose clean.
Yes, they certainly do. And the thing is as well, the tyres aren't up to temperature just yet. So we're seeing lots of drivers out there struggling. They're throwing the car up the inside and expecting the car to stick, and it's just not happening. And it's going to take quite some time for the operating window for these cars to kick in. Lots of drivers, of course, opting for the Hyundai, but we're seeing cars thrown, making moves up the inside. It's just the car's just not quite ready for it just yet. And that is why we've had so many incidents. And one driver that's really benefited from that, I have to say, is Sam Corson, currently in 8th place. Started this one in 21st. So Sam is certainly benefiting from all the drama, and he'll be keen to continue making his way up the order. So
we've now gone through the crazy initial start of the race, and we're just kind of settling down now, thankfully. It's Williamson and Weddle away at the front. Stuart McFadden in that 3rd place just now, but let's see if Stuart McFadden's got anything to make any inroads. Adam Brown in 4th place, one of the Rethink Racing Armada. Then it's Mike Palush, Cameron Ritchie, Matthew McBride, Sam Corson and Andy Alston just picked on with a big step up the leaderboard. Ahead of Mike Johnson, and Ryan Smithy, the mini racer, runs out the top 10 just now. But we are 4 minutes into this race as we see Cameron Ritchie on screen. Cameron Ritchie in car number 27, just ahead of Matthew McBride. Matthew in car number 18, who set the world on fire, or set his e-racing world on fire in Norway. If you remember, Matthew took a race 3 win there in some brilliant style, really kept his nose clean and put up with a huge amount of pressure as James McIntosh there has a bit of a move going in towards Duffy's Dip. That was, I believe, Lee Anderson. He went past there, Leah, in the snap-on car with the gold wheels. It couldn't look any more bling, Andy, and I do like that. Is that a Ford, if I'm not mistaken? Or correct me on that, please. Don't think it's a Ford.
I believe that is the
Hyundai.
The Elantra, which is what most drivers seem to be going with here. That seems to be the car of choice. James McIntosh out there in a rare Audi. The Audi's got a lot of straight line speed, but does tend to struggle a little bit in the slower corners. So James opting for the Audi this time around, but most of the drivers, including that man there at the front, Fraser Williamson, out on board in the Elantra. And the gap there, Duncan, just extended ever so slightly to just over half a second between Williamson and Weddle. Stuart McFadden currently in third place.
Yeah, Stuart McFadden in third place, but not making any inroads, Andy. I expected him to be putting a bit of pressure on Williamson and Weddle, and right now this is perfect for Michael Weddle. He has got no pressure from behind him in the number 7 car, the red car in second place, but he has got to put a little bit of pressure on Fraser Williamson, who sits in the lead just now. So Fraser, he can cope with that pressure, though, Andy. We've seen that so much in the past, that pressure for Fraser Williamson, it's just something he deals with quite easily. But right now, it is definitely Michael Weddle who I feel is in the driving seat as we look further down as well. We picked up on him earlier on. He's lost his Hellman sponsorship. He's in 13th place just now. Peter Mackay circulates just behind Cam Knowles and ahead of Scott Malcolm. So what can the Knockhill commentator, a man who would normally be in our seat, what can he do in this race? He was with a very good showing at Road Atlanta, Andy, but 13th for Peter just now. Good showing.
Yes, and out there in the Civic as well. So it's it's going to be tricky, and they've just got a car just gone off just ahead of Peter. That's Cameron Bryden, who's got it all wrong coming out of Duffus, and I suspect will take a toll potentially because there looks like significant damage at the front of that car. But Peter, as you mentioned there, just out there in the Civic, he's going to find it a little bit tricky through the chicane because the Honda doesn't like the curbs quite so much. So, however, what it does provide is good drive out the exit of the corners. So it'll be interesting just to see how Peter approaches this race. But just looking further ahead there, Matthew McBride's got a number of cars putting him under a little bit of pressure here, in 6th place, and quite a gap between Matthew and Mike Palouche further ahead in 5th.
Peter does tend to take the different style of car. Everybody chooses one car, like we saw that at Road Atlanta. He was in the Porsche, which I think he was one of maybe 3 in the entire field. But let's look at what we've got on screen just now, because back at front, Fraser Williamson is now coming into lapped traffic, and he's got to try and get past this lapped traffic. The blue flags will be out for the lapped cars to make sure they get out of the way. Williamson with that 0.4 of a second lead, which he has held now for some 2 or 3 laps over Michael Weddle, and that is pretty good for him. But this is another one of the little traits that Knockhill has. It's such a close little circuit. You do get a lot of traffic involved in races, and back markers can make or break your race. In towards Duffus Dip. Great aerial shot here as we look over turn 1. It swings downhill through Leslie's, named after the late great David Leslie, and then we come through McIntyre's, named after Bob McIntyre. Then Butcher's, the circuit owner, ex-circuit owner Derek Butcher, and then we go through the black circle chicane. That's how quick half the lap happens at Knockhill before we climb up the back straight in towards Clark Corner. Clark Curve, named after the late great Jim Clark, and then we come on to Steve Hislop, one of the fastest men ever around the Isle of Man TT. Steve Hislop, his big long left-hand corner. Somebody decides to take the grass here and get well out of the way of the leader too. The leaders, that was Gaz Brown. That's a novel way of getting out the way as they come through Taylor's turn. That's a lap of Knockhill. That's the corner names checked off. And look at Weddle. He's now applying a little bit of pressure with the lights, Andy Alston. Is that something that you see when you're in your sim rig?
Yeah, Fraser will absolutely be picking that up. And he's trying to just put under a little bit of pressure, and Michael's almost trying to use the traffic a little bit if he can here as well, but he has been potentially held up there ever so slightly, I suspect. Got a little bit of good drive out there. Oh, it's very, very aggressive on the curb. And he's looking to put Williamson under all sorts of pressure now. 5 and a bit minutes left to go in this race. Can Weddle use the traffic to his advantage and make the move on Fraser Williamson?
I have to say, Michael Weddle, aggressive. Well, Andy Alston over the curb there, that was putting it mildly. That would be a backbreaker, the way Weddle went over that one in real life. Williamson defends in towards hairpin. Will Williamson defend all the way in? Yes, he does. Weddle not even attempting to have a look up the inside. Now, one thing that is quite interesting, these cars left-hand drive. Michael will always have driven a right-hand drive car around Knockhill Racing Circuit. So this will be a little bit different for him. He's in the faraway side from the apex of these corners. So you've got to try and position your car perfectly around these corners. Weddell, though, all over the back of Fraser Williamson. These two guys, I have to say, Andy, without taking anything away from anybody else in this race, these guys are the cream of the crop.
Yes, two very, very fast drivers. Michael Weddell, we know how quick he is in the real world as well. Fraser Williamson has just got bags of experience behind the wheel at iRacing. You know, all the drivers out there on track, they have a rating that's applied to them by iRacing, and that's dependent on how they perform in kind of public races. And Fraser Williamson's overall rating is very, very high indeed. Very fast driver, enjoys the kind of prototype cars in particular, lots of the kind of endurance series racing. But you know, it's this sort of car here that will be a very different challenge, shall we say, behind the wheel.
As we are now 10 minutes into this race, so we've possibly got 5 laps left of this race around Knockhill, and it's Williamson and Weddell 1.4 seconds lead over. Look who's coming towards them. I have to think maybe the traffic has helped just a little bit, but Stuart McFadden, lap times very consistent, very fast. McFadden knows how to get around Knockhill well, and he will just not be liking this, that he can't catch the guys in front. He's comfortable over Adam Brown, who's behind him in 4th place. So what has McFadden got for the last 5 laps, or last 5 minutes of this race as they come through Hislops, round towards Taylor's Turn? There's Adam Brown, a man who has featured very heavily, prominently at the front of the Rethink Racing team. He has almost become one of the team leaders along with Michael Weddell. Now, where is Jack Eyre? We hear you scratching your head. Jack Eyre not here this week, we should say. Jack Eyre, get well soon, mate. We hope that you can come back to an iRacing platform soon, and send us some love in the chat, and everybody can send Jack here some get well soon messages in the chat room as well. Sam Corson circulating in 8th place just now, and now we have a look back to Twin Cam Knowles, car number 113 in 11th place, and he's had a pretty eventful first race, we could say, around Knockhill.
Yeah, he certainly has, but he's got potential here to end it strongly with a top 10 finish. Ryan Smith and Mikey Johnson just both ahead of him, so if he can use that momentum, he could potentially make a late move here, because the 2 cars ahead of him look like they're going to begin to start scrapping, so Cam Knowles could potentially be there to pick up the pieces. Ryan Smith's going very, very quickly through the chicane here as well. He's got Johnson just on. Oh, Johnson potentially maybe got a slowdown there potentially, because he's let both cars through there in the Audi. I think he possibly has. So Cam, or potentially a back marker, I beg your pardon. Cam Knowles all the meanwhile in 11th place and hunting down the red car of Ryan Smith with a couple of minutes left to go in this one.
Ryan Smith, his race car in this, harking back to his race colours for his actual real deal car. So in towards the apron, we see Leah Anderson having a look up the inside of Lauren Murray. Lauren Murray gives a little bit of racing room respect, tries to cut it back through the apex. Good move from Lauren Murray. He's going to drive up alongside and take that position back as they go over the crest of the hill in the Beatson's Building Supply Bridge. That was a fabulous little move from Lauren Murray. Is he brave enough to hold it in towards Duffy's Dip? Yes, Leah Anderson tries to have a look, maybe going back through the inside into Leslie's, but no, Murray, not his first rodeo for defending in a race car around Knockhill. A little bit wayward with the back of the car going through McIntyre's, but manages to hold it all together. The gap back at the front, half a second, is now the lead for Williamson and Weddell. McFadden still hovers 1.4 seconds in the background, and who's that off track? Gaz Brown off track at the Black Circle chicane. He'll rejoin on the entrance to Clark Corner. A lot of people making lots of mistakes. Is it easy to make a mistake at Knockhill in the sim car?
Yes, certainly it is, because you know, Knockhill's one of those circuits where you really want to push the car to its absolute maximum, use every inch of the surface available to you. But in iRacing, it will punish you with off-track penalties, particularly through the exit of McIntyre's, particularly through the chicane as well. So it's one of those ones where you've got to make that judgment call, because, do you want to save a couple of off-track penalties and then...
Yeah, you do not want off tracks. You do not want off tracks. That's something you do want. Slowdowns. Slowdowns could cost you, and they would cost Fraser Williamson or Weddell chance of a championship if it keeps going the way it is just now. 0.6 of a second, starting to stretch out at the front now. Fastest lap of the race, Andy, if I'm not mistaken, sits with our third place driver Stuart McFadden, who really has got something between his teeth. 1.2 seconds. He's bridging the gap to Williamson and Weddell, as Weddell falls back towards McFadden. So this could get pretty tasty as we're into the last 30 seconds of this race. Will we see the checkered flag this time through out the hairpin? It's difficult to see. I can't remember seeing a white flag as he crossed the line the last time, but Fraser Williamson in towards the hairpin for what could be the last time. I believe they will get one more lap. The white flag's waving now. Will we get a checker flag up towards it? We're going to cross the line with 10 seconds to go. The white flag waves for Fraser Williamson. So this is it. It's now or never for Fraser Williamson, and it's now or never for Stuart McFadden. McFadden in that third place as Williamson with the number 1 on his car, defending champion of our SMRC eSports Racing Winter Cup. Makes his way down through Butchers already. He's got the black circle chicane to go through. Weddle chases on, takes a touring car line, as does McFadden. But Fraser Williamson, inch perfect through there, up towards Clark Corner. Second to last corner as they come out and round Hislops. Williamson has not put a wheel wrong in this race, and that's been the problem for Michael Weddle. But this man in third place could be a problem in the next couple of races if he gets off to that better start, which he really fumbled the start in this race. McFadden will come back fighting, but up towards the checker flag, it will be the defending champ in the number 1 car, Fraser Williamson, for the Sim Racing Movano course team. He takes the checker flag and race number 1. Sensational drive from Fraser Williamson, Andy Alston, Michael Weddle and Stuart McFadden round out the podium.
Yeah, great drive from Fraser, and that crucially gives him a 5-point lead at the top of the standings ahead of Michael Weddle. Both drivers were tied on 160 points, of course, going into this one. So Fraser Williamson has the momentum on his side, but this battle is not done yet.
What a fabulous race as the rest of the top 10 cross the line. Ryan Smith comes home in 10th place, just behind Cam Knowles, but it was Williamson, Weddle and McFadden, your top 3, with Adam Brown, Mike Palouche, Matthew McBride, Cameron Ritchie in 7th place ahead of Sam Corson. Great run through the field for Sam Corson, that. And then twin Cam Knowles and Ryan Smith. But no rest for the wicked. That is the top 10. Outside the top 10, we've got a whole load of drivers that just disappear off my screen just now. But there is no rest for the wicked. We'll be straight back in to race number 2. As you can see, the top 10, we gave the grid already on screen. We got to Ryan Smith, then Scott Malcolm and Mike Johnson, with James McIntosh, Sam Harper, Peter Mackay and Ronald Grossman together on the grid. What could possibly go wrong with that one, Andy Alston? As I can almost hear you sniggering in the background there.
Yes, 2 drivers, of course, who tangled at the hairpin quite some time ago. And yes, I mean, I have to say, I've been very impressed with Peter and how he's performed through these 3 races. Like you say, I think it's good to see lots of different cars out there on track, and Peter's been bold enough to go out there in the Civic, a car that does find the curbs a little bit tricky, but he's coping very, very well out there indeed. And it'll be interesting to see how he gets on in the second race.
Race number 2 at a lovely sunny Knockhill, and the grid is set. It's the finishing order from race number 1. Revs are up. What can McFadden do in third place this time off the start? Again, Stuart McFadden doesn't get the start. Fraser Williamson, though, aces the start, and Adam Brown looks like he will take Stuart McFadden on the run down towards Duffus Dip. McFadden tries to brave it out, and he does. He at least holds his third place over the crest of Duffus Dip and Leslie's for the first time of asking. And Andy Alston, we're just watching the screen, waiting for the mayhem to kick off in the background, as it usually does here. But Ryan Smith on the outside trying to go through there. Is that Ronald Grossman? It is. Let's hope that's not Peter Mackay also involved in that. And Stuart McFadden goes off the track, going through the black circle chicanes. But he does manage to get back on at Clark. So hearing in our ears from Mo Money, Mo Problem back at base, it was Peter Mackay and Ronald Grossman. And I'm trying not to smile too much about that one, but those two have history around Knockhill as they come into the hairpin. Oh, up the inside, Weddle takes the lead for the first time here on Wednesday. Weddle hits the front. What can he do from now on?
Yeah, blink and you miss it. A very, very opportunistic move for Michael Weddle. He takes the lead of the race on a 3/10 of a second lead into the bargain as well. Lots of drama just kicking off further behind as well, though. Stuart McFadden currently on the final step of the podium, but Adam Brown and Mike Palouche are having a great scrap. Also, Adam Morrison making a move there as well. But we've got a number of cars in pit lane. Scott Malcolm, Ryan Smith, Sam Harper, Ronald Grossman, Peter Mackay as well is in pit lane. Sean Dobie, I believe, is just potentially exiting pit lane because he's down the order slightly. But let's get a replay here and just see what happened between that's Ronald Grossman just been tagged, and then I think he's collected Peter Mackay. Unfortunately, just on the exit. Not a lot that could be done about that, and unfortunately both have it all to do.
Yeah, so poor Ronald Grossman turned around there. And was that Mike Johnson that turned him around there possibly, or am I thinking somebody else? We'll come back to that later on. Peter Mackay, unfortunately, involved in that as well. So let's get back to what we have in front of us just now. We're looking at Mike Palouche, and he is on the charge and on the case of Adam Brown. Something happened to Stuart McFadden. We saw him have an off track on the way up towards Clarkson. That's put McFadden back to 5th place. He's just ahead of Matthew McBride in the grey and silver car just now, who makes a little bit of a mistake going in towards McIntyre and drops him off the back. But yeah, there's a reminder for everybody about Reese Motorsport Insurance Specialists. Why not check out what they can do for you if you're racing? And also, what about the Reese Motorsport Driver of the Day? That's something that we need to get our heads up on right now. There's quite a few people that we could put in the fight for that, or in the mix for that. Reese Motorsport Insurance Driver of the Day, something that we'll all cover as McFadden comes up the inside. Good move, Stuart McFadden, controls that very well. Stops it too much, though, at the apex of the corner there, Andy Alston. Do you think that was a slight panic brake?
Potentially, and it allows Matthew McBride to make a move here as well, because side by side they go down the start finish straight. Matthew McBride could find himself through. He's already in 5th place before they hit Duffus. However, we could see a swooping move from Stuart McFadden potentially to try and hold on there. He doesn't, so Stuart McFadden down into 6th place. Matthew McBride will be delighted with that.
Yeah, Matthew McBride will be happy from that. John Higgins, fastest lap of the race as it sits just now. So, with it all going horribly wrong in race number 1, there's John Higgins Jr. about to go through the chicane. The light blue car with, oh, good grief, all 4 wheels off the ground. Chases Adam Kindness, I believe that is up the back straight just now. Junior, fastest lap of the race. The race engineer sits in Lanzarote in a bar someplace with a few of the finest Estrellas on tap and in hand. That'll be Dad, John Higgins Jr. though wasn't happy after that first race. You could understand that. A little bit of contact, and that was his race done. But Weddle at the front, 0.3 of a second, and it's roles reversed 180 degrees, because this is exactly what Fraser Williamson had to put up with in race number 1. He had pressure from Michael Weddle from start to finish of round about 0.3 of a second was the gap. There was then a 1.4 second gap back to Stuart McFadden, who finds himself in 6th place this time. It's Adam Brown who is currently in 3rd place, and he is another one of the Rethink Racing drivers who is up for that win bonus. The all-important win bonus from the Rethink team, Andy. It's something myself when you can only dream about, but it is out there, isn't it?
Yes, lots of Rethink drivers out there on the grid, but it's that man there, Michael Weddle, of course, leading the way for the team and in the overall standings. But Fraser Wilson trying to go the wrong way round there at the hairpin, and then just crucially get the drive on the exit and potentially make a move. But look at Weddle already committing to taking that narrower line here. He's going to try and make this difficult for Williamson. Weddle will be drawn upon all that experience he has behind the wheel in the Mini Cooper Cup, and trying to defend with all his might here. Fraser Williamson potentially throwing the car up the inside there into McIntyre's, but thinks better of it, and Weddle retains the lead of the race.
Yeah, that was intent there from Fraser Williamson. He was just showing that, yes, I am here. I'm not going to sit contently in 2nd place. So he keeps the pressure on Michael Weddle. That in turn makes Michael Weddle watch his mirrors in towards these corners. Just as he thinks he's safe, he's got to watch, because Fraser Williamson will pounce and he won't give him much of an opportunity to defend. And also, look at this. We've got Mike Palouche in that 3rd place, a newcomer to our SMRCs in 4th place, sorry, just now, making eyes for the back of Adam Brown. And this is something that could change throughout the course of this. The core sim racing specialist, Mike Palouche, teammate with Ronald Grossman, and the less said about Ronald's weekend, or night I should say, the better. He's currently in 25th place, 1 lap down, with Peter Mackay, his nemesis, in 24th place just now. So when it's not working, it's not working. Cutting his way through the pack just now is John Higgins Jr. He's up to 11th place in this blue car. He chases James McIntosh. He goes up inside of James McIntosh. McIntosh gives him a bit of room, runs himself a little bit wide, and Junior involved in that battle right on the back bumper is Cam Knowles. He can't afford to be a little bit slack here, but he has come past both these guys, Cam Knowles and Adam Kindness. Up the inside, that's an aggressive move from John Higgins Jr. Will he make that stick? Yes, like that move. Good move from John Higgins Jr. there, giving James McIntosh. McIntosh had the chance to back out of that one, but Junior put that car on inside. Aggressive move. Cost him nothing there, Andy Alston. Good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. John Higgins Jr. up into the top 10 now, and that's a very impressive drive considering he started this race from the final row on the grid. But side by side at the front, Fraser Williamson looking to make a move. Weddle in the red car taking the defensive line and managing to once more hold the lead of this race. Both cars almost coming together, and they have come together because Williamson just tags the rear of Weddle's car, but both cars managing to keep it on the track. But that's bringing Adam Brown, Mike Palouche, Matthew McBride all into contention here as well. We have a 5-car scrap for the lead of this race. Williamson running right ever so slightly. Weddle goes defensive once more. Could we see a change for the lead here?
Brilliant driving from Weddle and from Fraser Williamson, who's trying to go around the outside. Will Weddle give him a little bit of racing room when they exit the corner? Yes, he does. That could be a mistake for Michael Weddle. He had to pinch it back at the apex, and here comes Fraser Williamson up over the crest of the hill. Williamson now leads the race. Will he cut across the front into Duffy's Dip and have enough? Yes, they're side by side through the apex of Duffy's. Williamson and Weddle, and look at Adam Brown coming up the outside of Michael Weddle, but Fraser Williamson hits the front in the number 1 SRC Movano course racing car, and that's taken about a lap for that manoeuvre to unfold. Remember, that started at Duffy's Dip exactly 1 lap ago. And through he goes to the front, the number 1 driver, number 1 car, with Michael Weddle, the Rethink Racing driver, now with something to definitely rethink, because he's got his teammate Adam Brown behind him, then Mike Peluche, but into the hairpin. It's between these two guys in the championship, and Weddle now tries to come around the outside and get some sort of slingshot through the hairpin. But Fraser Williamson definitely in the driving seat just now, as we're halfway through the race, Andy.
Yes, I thought we were going to see Steve White going into McIntyre's for a moment there, but Fraser Williamson takes the lead of the race. 3/10 of a second is the gap at the front. Just seeing Adam Brown drop off ever so slightly now between those two championship protagonists, Mike Peluche, Matthew McBride, but Stuart McFadden is absolutely in the mix here as well, because he is he's been in the very, very fast times. They did 52.2 last time out, and looking to make a move here. So lots of drama kicking off behind the two leaders at the front, but this race really is all to play for.
I think we have to hark back to that good move from John Higgins Jr. It's sticking in my mind. It's very much reminiscent of what we've seen Gordon Shedden do here at Knockhill in the BTCC many a time. It's a late manoeuvre in towards Clark's. It catches him off guard, and it really does give you the main line round towards the hairpin. So great move from John Higgins Jr. He currently finds himself on the fringe of the top 10, or in 10th place just now, behind Mike Johnson. But at the front, this is a line of cars, and it's Williamson, Weddle, Brown, Peluche, and we've got to say McBride and McFadden in this now. 6 cars all line astern, not nose to tail, Andy. They're line astern. Then we've got Sam Corson in 7th place, just behind them. But anything could happen in this gaggle just now as Fraser Williamson sets a new fastest lap off the race last time round. Andy, it's now out to 3/10 of a second. This is ominous for Flymo Michael Weddle, who chases in 2nd place.
Yeah, Fraser Williamson looking to extend the lead at the front here if he can. So this is it. This is a crucial point of the race with 5 minutes or so left to go. Michael Weddle's just going to try and hold on here as best as he can, and then make a late move towards the final few laps of this one. But very much all to play for at the front. Just seeing another move here. That looks like John Higgins Jr. going into 9th place with a move on Cameron Ritchie there. Good move up the inside, and he's now got his sights firmly set here on the yellow car ahead of him, of Mike Johnson. So John Higgins Jr. continuing to make moves, but we've seen a new fastest lap back at the front. Michael Weddle now takes the fastest lap with a 51.7. So the two cars at the front exchanging fastest times here, and Weddle is looking to make a move.
Yeah, the gap now out to half a second to the benefit of Fraser Williamson, as we hear Matthew McBride has had a moment and gone off track elsewhere as well. But yeah, John Higgins up to 9th place, eyes in the back of Mike Johnson. Those eyes have worked. Junior has now gone into 8th place. He's cutting through the field in this final. I've got to say, or the second race, he is making good progress. Johnson with a slight overlap in towards the hairpin. Junior cuts across the nose, big contact into the tyre wall on the run in towards the hairpin. And what can you say about that? Well, probably the less said, the better, Andy Alston. We'll get a replay on that one from possibly a different angle, but Junior gets turned round on the way towards the hairpin. Let's have a replay of that just now. Junior starting to... Was he squeezing at all? Or did Johnson come across? Well, I really didn't see enough of that, to tell you the truth. I didn't see enough of that myself, and I don't want to portion blame on anybody. I'll let Andy Alston do that.
Yeah, it's the fastest part of the track, you know, and that's when the stakes are at their highest, and it's unfortunate as well for John Higgins Jr. because he had such a strong drive throughout the field here, but unfortunately now got it all to do. We see it time and time again in our SMRC eSports racing events. You know, one bit of contact can go and cause all sorts of drama and disappointment for your event.
I tell you, it's not a place that you want to go missing from. It's not a place you want to go missing from. It's such a fast part of the track, as Andy Alston says. But right now, we are back very much up with the action, and we see Mike Peluche on screen in car 5. 11 minutes of this race gone, We are on lap number 14 around Knockhill, and look at the gap at the front. Michael Weddle has worked away so hard on these last couple of laps. He's got himself within 0.2 of a second onto Fraser Williamson. Williamson has got the pressure coming his way. He's also got a couple of back markers ahead of him as well, and that could be something that definitely comes to the way of Michael Weddle. Weddle needs to not follow. He needs to pass. These two guys came in here tied on points, and after race number 1 is Williamson, who has a slender, I'll say, 5-point lead, Andy Alston, if I'm correct, and my maths are okay.
Yeah, 5-point lead at the top, but it could change here potentially because Weddle's got a very good run out on the exit of the hairpin. He'll have to go the long way around though because Williamson goes narrow into Duffus. Will Weddle potentially make a move here? Going into McIntyre, he gets another good drive here, but Williamson has got the elbows out. Fraser Williamson retains the lead of this race. Adam Brown, Mike Palush, Stuart McFadden all looking to get involved though. 5 cars all making their way through the chicane now. Williamson gets a good drive on the exit though, however just drops a wheel ever so slightly. But Weddle's also had a bad exit there, bringing Adam Brown, his Rethink Racing teammate, into contention in the white car. Adam Brown could throw that car up the inside going into the hairpin. Weddle's now got a 0.4 of a second deficit here, and Adam Brown does go for it. Adam Brown goes side by side here into the hairpin. So Adam Brown into second place. This is a disaster for Weddle, who doesn't give up without a fight. He's still there on exit. There's lots of traffic in front of the leaders as well. This is music to the ears of Fraser Williamson because he now has a considerable lead at the front with a couple of minutes left in this race.
I'm surprised that Adam Brown went past his teammate, but at the end of the day, it's every man for the sellers. Palush makes a mistake. McFadden comes up the inside, but Mike Palush manages to just hold off Stuart McFadden in a very aggressive turn across the nose from Ronald Grossman on Stuart McFadden. Stuart won't like that, and I've got to say, Mike Palush very, very lucky to get away with that one. Sorry, I'm claiming that's Ronald Grossman a few times involved now, but it's so exciting. But at the front, Andy Alston called it absolutely perfectly. That was music to the ears of Fraser Williamson. He would have loved everything he was seeing behind him as the two Rethink guys got involved with each other at the hairpin. We're about to go into our last lap of the race, I would imagine. In this one, we'll maybe get 2 more laps to go depending on what the speed's like. But Williamson has a 0.7 of a second lead over Michael Weddle. Then it's Adam Brown. What can Michael Weddle do in these last couple of laps? There's a lap car between them, and that has a big moment going over the crest of Duffus dip. Weddle's on the outside. They're side by side through McIntyre's, and Michael Weddle just manages to get away with that one. They were just going out of our sight, and that looked like could have almost been curtains for Flymo, but he has got to dig deep now. And this has all come because Weddle made a very small error on the exit of the Black Circle chicane, just cost himself a bit of time, took himself away from Williamson and back towards his teammate. Andy, we will get another lap after this one, I believe. Yes,
and Michael Weddle needs it because he is absolutely furious there with the time lost. He was giving the lights there to try and make his way through. It didn't quite happen, and it's now 0.9 of a second between him and Williamson here. Stuart McFadden also having a scrap once more with Mike Palush. 3 wide, they almost go down the start-finish straight here, and McFadden has the inside line. That is the white flag. This will be the last lap. But Mike Palush on the outside going into Duffus. So Stuart McFadden will take 4th place ahead of Palush, and I think Adam Brown will all but surely have the final step of the podium secured. So Palush in 5th place with a little bit of traffic currently ahead of him as well.
Yeah, Mike Palush getting overtaken by the back marker there, who I'll pick as a Honda. We'll pick up on that in just a minute. Is that Peter? Is there any chance Peter Mackay? That's that got missing Hellman's Mania stickers off that car, but Mike Palush there unfortunately caught out with that one. It was Peter that was involved in that. As we come in towards the hairpin, the checker flag is very much ready. It's going to be Fraser Williamson who takes the checker flag just now, crossing the line with Michael Weddle in 2nd and Adam Brown in 3rd place. We were caught up in that battle that Mike Palush was very much having there, but Williamson takes a little double here at Knockhill for race number 1 and race number 2. So 10 points the advantage of the SRC Movano Corsa driver. Michael Weddle has work to do, and I have to say Michael Weddle did not get helped out there one bit by his Rethink Racing teammate Adam Brown. But that's racing. It does happen. Adam Brown comes home for a very well-deserved 3rd place on the podium. And Stuart McFadden with that power move on Mike Palush on the last couple of laps here going in towards Duffus Dip, put himself in the 4th and Palush down to 5th. Other notables, Matthew McBride, in 6th place with Sam Corson, Adam Kindness, Cameron Knowles and Adam just disappearing off the screen. Morrison, I believe that was, in 10th place. But we shall get our thoughts together here in the broadcast centre, and we will have a bit of a chat. Remember, guys, the Reese Motorsport Insurance Driver of the Day is an important topic that I need you to have a think about, and drop a note into one of the various chat rooms if you can. Myself, Andy Alston, myself, Duncan, Vincent, and Andy Alston. We'll have a chat about it with the guys back at Sim Broadcast. But Andy, what a cracking couple of races we've just seen there.
It certainly has, and the stage is set for a thrilling finale as well. 10-point lead at the top of the championship between Fraser Williamson and Michael Werrell, but lots of drama throughout the field as well. And don't forget, we've got a reverse grid to throw into this next one as well.
It's not just me that's getting tongue-tied, and I'm quite happy with that, Andy Alston. So we will go away and have a little bit of a drink. We'll wet the vocal cords, and we shall come back in a couple of minutes or so, guys. Keep the Reese Motorsport Insurance Driver for the Day fresh in your mind. What a cracking couple of races that was. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back in just a couple of minutes. Welcome back to the last race of our SMRC eSports Winter Cup, a series by the SMRC, powered by Reese Motorsport Insurance and brought to you by Sim Broadcast. Duncan, Vincent and Andy Alston are in our virtual broadcast centre at Knockhill Racing Circuit, and this is the last race. Adam Morrison lines up on pole position, and for anybody who knows Adam Morrison, this could go two ways, very well or another way. Let's see how it unfolds for Adam. We have the grid set: Cameron Ritchie, Adam Kindness, Sam Corson, Matthew McBride, Mike Palush, Stuart McFadden, Adam Brown, Michael Weddle and Fraser Williamson 9th and 10th. Basically, if Fraser Williamson beats Michael Weddle, he is the champion. Michael Weddle needs to beat Fraser Williamson by a couple of places at least if he's going to win this race. Let's see what happens. An aerial shot looking at some lovely juggernauts in the paddock at Knockhill. Not something you see every weekend. And the grid is set. Can Adam Morrison hold this one in towards Duffy's Dip and lead some of this race? Adam Morrison, a very good real-world driver, just dipping his toe in the world of sim racing. But the green light starting to form up on our gantry here. Full complement, and it's a very quick turnaround. Morrison does get a good leap off the line, and Adam Kindness, his teammate in real world racing, follows him in towards Duffy's Dip. It's the two Adams at the front, and this really could be very exciting now as everybody else tries to see him through. There is Fraser Williamson. He is behind Stuart McFadden just now as they come through the twisty part of the circuit. Kindness on the tail of Morrison as they come through the black circle chicane just now. Everybody else takes a touring car line. Somebody goes off in the background. That could be Gaz Brown, and that's Michael Weddle with Stuart McFadden, and somebody hard into the recticel at the exit off the chicane is Adam Brown, Michael Weddle and Stuart McFadden, with Fraser Williamson very much in the mix of this as well, and Mike Johnson in the yellow car, who was caught up with John Higgins Jr. in race number 2 on this part of the track. Into the hairpin, onto the brakes they all go. Fraser Williamson trying to keep himself out of any shenanigans, and he does as Adam Kindness hits the front of the race just now as they go up over the crest of the hill for the first lap, Andy.
An absolutely energetic start to that race, but Adam Kindness retaining the lead of the race. I'm just watching the red car of Weddle there in our background, because side by side he goes almost with, I believe he's just got a bit of a lead there, in fact, because he was almost going side by side with a couple of cars around, and Fraser Williamson has just dropped down to 9th place, but it looks like Mike Palush has come into contact there with, I think that's Sam Corson, unfortunately. Sam was having such a strong event as well, but all the meanwhile, Fraser Williamson 7th place now. He's made up 2 places amid all the drama, but a bit of a gap between the two championship protagonists. There's further contact just further back there. I think that is Leah Anderson who goes into the tyre wall, unfortunately. And yes, this is it again. As we said, Duncan, you know, it takes a few minutes for the tyres to get up to temperature here in these TCR cars, and lots of drama unfolding as a result of that.
Have to say, did we not mention Sam Corson as a possibility for the Reese Motorsport Insurance Driver of the Day? Andy Alston, again, you've jinxed another driver as they come into race number 3. Poor Sam, off twice in that one. And I also saw Stuart McFadden having a huge moment on the exit of the black circle chicane. I was worried in case he was going to come back on and collect somebody halfway up the back straight. Mike Johnson with a huge amount of curb there as he tries to get past Adam Brown. Browner there with a face full of gravel, because that's Fraser Williamson who makes a mistake. First time we see the champ make a mistake this year, and that puts him back towards Adam Brown. The only thing ahead of Fraser Williamson right now is Michael Weddle. Michael Weddle needs to scurry on up the track. He's passing Adam Morrison as they come in towards the open, and that is a good bit of an advantage now for Michael Weddle. It's still not enough in the championship positions right now, but that's the first time we've seen Fraser Williamson make any kind of a mistake this year. The Reese Motorsport Insurance Driver of the Day is still very much up for grabs. We did talk about Sam Corson off air, and poor Sam Corson finds himself down now in 23rd place, 1 lap down. We've also lost Matthew McBride there. Matthew doing a 3-point turn on the McRae corner there, which is the rallycross track here at Knockhill. You'll try and rejoin at Leslie's in a minute or so. But as we come back up towards Clark's, it's Adam Kindness who leads the way in the track Scotland car, from Cameron Ritchie and Mike Palush, Michael Weddle with Adam Morrison, and then Fraser Williamson in 6th place just now.
Yes, quite a gap developing at the front of the pack, which was the first time we've seen that in these 3 races. But Adam Kindness will be delighted with that 1.6 second margin. Michael Weddle will be looking to try and reduce the deficit, though, because he's got a run here on Mike Palouche. Weddle in the red car trying to use as much of that toe as possible. Throws the car up the inside here now, trying to get a move here potentially just on the car ahead of him. A little dab of the lights there as well, not quite able to make the move, unfortunately for him, but Weddle has got to do everything in his power here to try and get a big gap between him and Williamson, but unfortunately, there he is, Fraser Williamson just behind him, coming through the chicane now with Adam Morrison, Adam Brown, Mike Johnson all hot on their heels as well. It looked like we could have seen a move there from Adam Brown, but thinks better of it on the exit of Class.
Yeah, and these moves have to be clinical. You can't just expect to arrive at the inside of somebody and for them to know you're there. As Weddle comes up the inside of Mike Palouche now, and he gets that manoeuvre and puts himself into third place. Bit of contact though with Cameron Ritchie, and that's not what he needs. That brings into the mix very much Fraser Williamson now. And what Mikey's also got to watch that he doesn't do here is have contact and damage that car. That was Mike Palouche wiping the nose of Michael Weddle as he went underneath that Beatson's Building Supply bridge. And look at this now, drifting back. We have got Fraser Williamson who goes round the outside now. I'm going to say Fraser Williamson, was he given a bye there? Because that was Adam Brown also getting past, and somebody's deciding to drive off the track. Mike Johnson, look at that for a touring car line through the Black Circle chicane. And Stuart McFadden still finds himself down in 9th place, which is so un-Stuart McFadden. But one must give one doth off the cap to this man at the front, Adam Kindness. He will be driving around with the biggest smile you've ever seen on his face just now. And I guarantee his tongue will be sticking out a bit as well. Guarantee that on the left-hand side. Adam Kindness leads the race, and he's got a 2-second lead. He has been pretty good at the front of this race. He hasn't, touch wood, put a foot wrong. He leads from Cameron Ritchie and Mike Palouche as we are now 5 minutes into this race. But Andy Alston, Weddle and Williamson back together again. Friends, very much reunited.
Yes, absolutely. And I think these cars at the front, though, should have a little bit of clear air for a couple of laps at least. I believe that was Sam Cosman in the last lap, just as the lap traffic getting out of the way. But so that means Fraser Williamson, Michael Weddle now have a clear run at the cars ahead of them. However, that will be easier said than done, trying to get a move here. Weddle potentially got a run here on Mike Palouche. However, Fraser Williamson just a couple of tenths of a second further behind. But Cameron Ritchie, all the meanwhile, in the number 27 car, will go defensive here into the hairpin as a result, just doing everything he can to hold on to second place. But I think it's all going almost wrong there.
Yeah, Fraser ahead of Williams. Fraser ahead of Weddle now. And let's see what happened here as they come in towards that hairpin. Michael Weddle in towards the hairpin. And this is a big, big moment here as they come in. They turn in, and Michael Weddle straight into the back of Mike Palouche. But you've got to ask, what happened to Mike Palouche there? Has that damaged Michael Weddle's car? Andy, when will damage start to show up? Or will you straight away know that there's something wrong with the car? Will the temperature go up? Will something fail in the car? Will it not want to turn into a corner? Will it not handle?
Yes, the drivers will feel that immediately. The iRacing damage model is very comprehensive, shall we say. The drivers will feel all sorts of damage coming through the car, and they'll veer off to the left, veer off to the right. And sometimes what you see, when a car hits the barrier, it's easier just to take a tow. The damage has been done. It'll save time just to take the tow, get the fast repair and get back out there on track. So it can be a little bit of a tactical call in that sense. Do you decide to try and pull the car all the way to the pit lane, or sometimes it's easier just to take that tow and go into pit lane?
What we can tell you just now is if it finishes now, take a snapshot of that. Fraser Williamson would be your SMRC eSports Winter Champion, and he would keep that number 1 plate. But there's still 7 odd minutes of this race to go, and Adam Kindness still leads, and he's built his gap up to 2.4 seconds. It's amazing because we've seen Adam so many times in a race but have some sort of something go wrong, contact, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. When you get the guy, put him on his own on a clear track, look at the pace he's got here, Andy Alston, and that's something that is pretty big in sim racing. If you can break free and get yourself on your own, keep that momentum going, generate the lap time, you can see exactly what Adam Kindness is doing at the front. But there's John Higgins Jr. as well. Comeback drive from this man. He's got Mike Johnson around him now. Remember what happened in the last race here at this very point. Mike Johnson turned him around, but thankfully he manages to get past and through. 16th place for John Higgins Jr. Scott Malcolm, the next man on his radar. John Higgins, well, his view is currently somewhat better than what I've got just now. He's in Lanzarote in a cafe bar watching his son on his iPhone. Weddle and Williamson. Williamson, first of all, gets past Adam Brown. In fact, Mike Palouche, sorry, as Palouche makes a bit of a mistake at the black circle chicane. And that is now freeing up a little bit of airspace in front of Fraser Williamson. The next man you can see is Cameron Ritchie. Weddle, though, looks at the back of his nemesis. Will we see a bit of a manoeuvre from Weddle? He can't just follow Andy. He's got to make a manoeuvre.
Yes, he absolutely does. He's got nothing to lose now, Michael. He's got to make the move and just hope that Williamson runs into some kind of misfortune or makes a mistake somewhere along the way. But as we know, Fraser Williamson is a very, very strong driver indeed. Williamson just doing everything he can to keep the eyes focused on the car ahead. That is, of course, Cameron Ritchie, and maybe try and leapfrog him into second place. But 5 and a bit minutes left to go in this race. Michael Weddle will be doing everything in his power to try and ensure this Winter Cup goes his way.
As Williamson makes another little bit of a mistake there at Clark Corner. Would that be something, Andy, that you'll get a slowdown from if you do too many of them at that corner? As Weddle looks at the inside of Williamson. Williamson covers that inside line. Michael Weddle has no room at the end there, and he's got to watch as well. He can't leave himself vulnerable like that on the inside of a corner. Mike Palouche comes sailing around the outside, but too many off tracks. Where do you get hurt at Knockhill for that mostly?
Mostly on the exit of McIntyre and through the chicane. The drivers can be tactical with their off tracks. They've got a maximum of 16 before they then have to take a drive-through penalty. Now, you can essentially save your off tracks to the latter stages of the race and then just use a little bit more curb, a little bit more runoff in certain areas of the track towards the end of the race to try and make a move. So it's a limit, but you can, whether you take 9 off-track penalties or 2 make no difference in the grand scheme of things. It's all about whether you get penalised for going above the 16 incident threshold.
As we see once again, Weddle trying to go around the outside of Williamson at the hairpin, but that's not to be. Fraser Williamson looks like he's starting to come up towards the back of Cameron Ritchie. Cameron Ritchie still 2.9 seconds off the back of Adam Kindness, who has a back marker between he and Cameron Ritchie just now. The blue car of Kindness that you'll see just flashing out a shot a few times. But this is a manoeuvre that Fraser Williamson needs to be absolutely clinical with. Oh, and he gets a nice easy one because Ritchie makes a mistake, throws the car wide going through McIntyre's and Butcher's and opens the door up for not just 1, but 2, 3, 4, 5 cars. He's still having his accident as we get towards Clark Corner. So Cameron Ritchie back on track now in 7th place behind Adam Brown. He will be kicking himself over that. And there's the back marker that is between what is now Fraser Williamson in 2nd place and Adam Kindness, who leads this race by 3.3 seconds with 11 minutes of the race gone. Andy, I've got to say, I'm touching wood for Adam Kindness just now. I think this could be a good-looking race victory.
Adam's pace is very impressive. Just last time out there, a 52.3. Williamson and Weddle both posting 52.1. So Adam's got the pace here to win this race. It's just whether he can crucially manage any potential traffic that comes his way, because Weddle and Williamson will both be scrapping, and Mike Palouche and Stuart McFadden, as well as Adam Brown, all getting involved as well. So Adam could potentially take the race win here in our final event here in this Winter Cup.
But let's not curse him just yet. Let's let him do his driving. He's 3.1 seconds up the road. As Fraser Williamson and Michael Weddle, Williamson, he can feel this pressure from Michael Weddle. It's not plain sailing. He needs to finish this race ahead of Michael Weddle to seal it comfortably. But Michael Weddle, well, we know that he will throw caution to the wind. And if that does happen, Mike Palouche, we've got Stuart McFadden and Adam Brown there ready to pick up any pieces. So Williamson can't afford to let Michael Weddle make that manoeuvre and have any off tracks coming in here as they come through Leslie's in towards McIntyre's. The SRC Movano Corsa driver of Fraser Williamson in the black car with the yellow flashes, and that number 1 ahead of Michael Flymo Weddle, one of the Rethink Racing Armada, in his number 7 car as he comes up towards Clark Corner. We go on board with Michael Weddle now. Great onboard shots as they come off the curb and head towards Hislops and the hairpin. The two Hyundais, the different types of Hyundais, but both effectively the same kind of running gear that these cars have. And look behind Michael Weddle now, Andy Alston. Mike Palouche coming under effective pressure from Stuart McFadden.
Yes, absolutely. We know how quick Stuart McFadden is, of course. Another regular in our SMRC iRacing events, and there are lots of fast drivers throughout the field, Duncan. That's the great thing about these events. There's so many fast drivers out there. They're all capable of winning, of course. A couple of laps left to go in this one. Adam Kindness still leading the way, but that gap is now down to 2.2 seconds between him and Fraser Williamson.
I'd like to think that Adam Kindness is managing this and just being cautious and not doing anything silly. And that's probably exactly what he's doing right now. But I guarantee he will be looking in his mirror. But right now, I think he's comfortable as we have a 2-second lead in towards the last 2 or 3 laps of this race. One thing's for sure is Fraser Williamson has got a bit of a wriggle on. He's pulling away from what we can see from Weddell. That's a look back at Ryan Smith, who's in 12th place. And Ryan Smith just ahead of Sam Harper in the yellow and the black car. And behind Sam Harper, we've got Scott Malcolm as well. Scott Malcolm defending on the run-in from David Bolton towards Taylor's Turn, the hairpin. Twin Cam Knowles in 11th place in the car number 113. The orange car against the pit wall just now up over the crest of the hill with James McIntosh on his inside. Can Twin Cam go round the outside? No, James McIntosh holds that position for the time being as we come back to Clark Corner with your leader in the Track Scotland car. And look at this. Look at Fraser Williamson. He is now starting to show his class. He's pulling away from Michael Weddell, and the gap now down to 1.8 seconds as this could actually be the last lap of the race as we have 10 seconds to go now at the hairpin. This is exactly what Adam Kindness wants as McFadden comes up the inside of Mike Palouche at the hairpin. Can he make that stick? Yes, this will be the checker flag. Contact with McFadden. The checker flag will fly for Adam Kindness, or do we get another lap? We get another lap now, so Adam Kindness, well, he should be able to hold on for this one. But what has happened to Stuart McFadden and Mike Palouche? They have disappeared from this one after contact at the hairpin. And look at the gap behind Michael Weddell now. Huge gap, Andy Alston.
Pure drama on the exit of the hairpin there, and McFadden and Mike Palouche coming together. Unfortunately, both drivers have had very strong events here as well, but it's all ended in tears on a penultimate lap. But at the front, Adam Kindness leading by 1.5 seconds. Then it's Williamson, then it's Weddell, and this looks like it could be it for the SMRC eSports Racing Winter Cup.
In towards the hairpin, about to take his first race in the SMRC eSports Championship of any shape. Adam Kindness looks delighted as he comes up towards the line. Adam Kindness takes the victory, and there's your champion. It is Fraser Williamson in the SRC Movano Corsa car. He holds on to his championship, retains it, defends it. Say what you like, that man is a machine. But let's take nothing away from Michael Weddell. What a stellar output it's been from him. We've seen him racing hard all the way, but also very clean. Cameron Ritchie in 4th place with Ronald Grossman up to 5th place, ahead of Adam Morrison in 6th place. A real bomb did go off at the exit of the hairpin that we kind of didn't get to see too much of because the lead battle was important, but we did lose Stuart McFadden and Mike Palouche from that. But Adam Morrison in 6th place, ahead of James McIntosh, Cam Knowles, Stuart McFadden and Sam Harper round out the top 10. But it's Fraser Williamson who takes the championship, and he'll be a very happy man. Let's see the replay. McFadden through, turned round by Mike Palouche. I'm sorry, Mike Palouche, you're the man behind. He should have been breathing out the throttle pedal just to get a little bit of room there. And that's not what happens. Round goes the luckless McFadden. And Palouche also went across the track towards the grass on the inside. Did I call that right or wrong, Andy? You tell me.
It's a tricky part of the track where lots of drama can easily unfold. So disappointment for Stuart McFadden there after such a strong campaign. He's a driver with plenty of pace, but hopefully we'll see him back at one of our events in the future, as we're about to see, I believe, Fraser Williamson doing some celebratory donuts, and rightly so.
You were sitting on the fence there, Andy Alston. I do like that. Well done. I'll let you off for that one. As Williamson 3-point turns the car on the main straight and reverses it back into the pit lane. I don't exactly know what Fraser is doing just now. Maybe we should breathalyse that man once he gets out the car. But what we will do in a couple of minutes, we will head over towards our Discord channel, and let's hope we get as many of the drivers into the waiting room. I think he's going to have to do some reverse donuts here, actually, isn't he? He really is. He's going to try and do a whole lap of the track in reverse.
That would be very impressive if he does that. Put the brakes on. Oh, come on, Fraser.
This is maybe
we're already down the straight.
In NASCAR, Alan Kulwicki done something not like this, but years ago he drove around the NASCAR track the wrong way. And that's something that
this is it.
Yeah, this is something a bit different. I can't comment because I couldn't do this anyway. I couldn't do it driving normal direction, but this is your champion having a bit of a moment, we should say, on his way around the circuit. But some drivers starting to file into the waiting room. This is a good time for us to pick our Reese Motorsport Insurance Driver of the Day. And Andy Alston,
Oh, it's an
I have
off-track
to say,
Come on.
we'll maybe give him that one. We'll let him off for that one. Andy, I have to say, I think for the Reese Motorsport Insurance Driver of the Day, so impressed with Adam Kindness in that last race. We did talk about Sam Corson off air, but he didn't have a good race. Adam Kindness, I don't think we can give it to anybody else.
Yeah, that was very impressive driving from Adam Kindness, and he had to do everything there. There was lots of attacking, lots of defending as well. Of course, he started the race from the second row of the grid, and he was very, very impressive throughout. So well done to Adam Kindness, our Reese Motorsport Insurance Driver of the Day.
Meanwhile, Fraser Williamson does what he does. There we go. He's trying to do some sort. That's the wrong way, Fraser, but we'll let you off for that one. And thankfully, he's now called it a day, and he will head to the waiting room as well. But give us in our broadcast centre just a couple of minutes, and we will head over to their Discord channel for a bit of a chat with some of the drivers. So across in the world of the Discord waiting room now, Duncan, Vincent and Andy Alston. And let's start first of all, and we'll take Track Scotland into our commentary box. Adam Kindness, Track Scotland, because that was a stellar performance from Adam Kindness. He was very much on form from the beginning of the race to the end of the race. And I've got to say, I had a moment, Adam, I had a bit of a tear in my eye. I was so impressed with how you put up with that. And from your point of view, you've been involved in quite a few things that have happened on track that never go your way. But once you get clear air, you've just shown exactly what you can do in the sim world. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was about time. Yeah, it was just consistent. Race 1 was a bit of a disaster. I was punted unceremoniously off from 9th, I think it was, on the first lap. And then race 2 was just trying to get back up. And then race 3, I think it was Adam Morrison ran wide hairpin. And then it was just basically keeping a gap, trying not to push it too much. I was still in the 51s, but yeah, did enough. Good enough.
Did more than enough, I've got to say. Yeah. And you're also, myself and Andy Alston, a bit of chat. You are our Reese Motorsport Insurance Driver of the Day, Adam.
Thank you. It's probably the only track I can actually do well at in iRacing.
Well, I've seen Adam Kindness do SLS for many years, Superlap Scotland. You're a Scottish motorsport racer, but that was a stellar drive in your TCR car there. Is it a car that you enjoy driving at Knockhill?
I normally use a Civic, so I've only used this Hyundai for this week. It's a bit understeery, but it's quite like the Mini, really. So I've done about 1 billion laps of the real life track, so yeah, helps.
Listen, congratulations on the race victory in race 3, but also on the Reese Motorsport Insurance Driver of the Day. We'll look forward to seeing you in the not too distant future, pal.
Yeah, I'll see you in February for the night out.
I can't wait for it. 3rd of February, we will be at Kivo House Hotel, and I will buy you a beverage of some sort for this victory.
Good stuff.
Well done. Thank you very much. Andy, we're going to have to get our champion in, Fraser Williamson. Let's get Fraser in, and let's get the lowdown from the man himself, who we have just seen do a complete reverse lap around the normal direction of Knockhill. I think I said that correct. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
What was that all about then, Fraser? Congratulations, buddy. You're the champion again. Back-to-back championships. Round of applause in the commentary box. How are you feeling?
Yeah, good. I'm just raging at Mikey for not choosing a car that lets me do donuts when I win. Donuts. So that's why the reverse lap, because I tried reverse donuts, it still didn't work. So yeah, I just did a lap in reverse because got to celebrate somehow.
Donouts and burnouts. I think that's what you mean there, if I'm not mistaken.
Aye, something along those lines. I'm tired.
That was a lot of pressure. Andy Alston, but let's get you involved in this as well. Andy, that was pressure, Andy, for Fraser all the way through that race.
It certainly was. And Fraser, we know how strong you are away from the line at the start of the race. But I'd be keen to get your thoughts on just getting the tyres up to temperature in these cars as well, because it is a real challenge. And we saw that in the opening laps with a couple of cars coming together. What was your kind of approach for that?
I was just babying it and hoping to survive, whereas Mikey's taking like 8 tenths a lap out me and giving me nothing. I knew at the start I had nothing for Mikey and Shot and everybody else around me. I just had to, thankfully in race 1 and race 2 I got a big enough gap Race 1, I managed to survive and stay in the lead. Race 2, only Mikey passed me, and I knew I had better pace in the last half of the race, so I could come back at him and try and attack him. But yeah, race 3, I wasn't expecting to come back through to second. Got a bit of damage early on, and I was just hoping to try and get to third or fourth and hoped Mikey didn't win, but he had a moment in the hairpin that let me squeeze past.
I've got to ask you, there's a couple of questions I want to ask you. One of them is not even about this race series. I want to ask you what it was like to drive the LMDH BMW car that you were racing recently in Europe.
I'm loving the LMDH. I wish this wasn't on just now, partially so I could be sitting driving that, because I'm not a fan of TCR, but it's great fun. It's the hybrid's not complicated, everything goes to rear wheels, it's just how I like it. It's giving my brain something new setup wise and trying to figure out something new in the sim, which only comes around every couple of years at this point.
Will we see you back again? That's the question. If you don't like TCR cars, what would you like to see racing around Knockhill?
I honestly don't mind. The Hyundai wasn't as bad as the Audi last year. It was a lot less painful. As long as it's something fun and worthwhile doing, and I'm here and I'm not busy, I'll probably turn up. It's good fun.
And would you like to race against Andy Alston?
Yeah, why not? Bigger bid, more fun.
Fraser would win that one quite easily, I can assure you.
Look, that depends on Mikey gets his revenge.
Fraser, congratulations. As we can see on the screen, once again, you are SRC Movano Corsa team, but you are the provisional champion for the SMRC eSports Winter Cup. Congratulations. Thanks for joining us for these 3 events, and have a fabulous Christmas and New Year. And I'll be keeping my eye on all the stuff you're doing on your eSports career, buddy.
Perfect. Cheers, guys. Have a good one. No
problem. We'll let Fraser disappear into the Ethernet cable and back out of my living room just now. I think we should get let's get Flymo in and let's double him up. Let's double him up with let's get Cameron Ritchie in as well. Flymo and Cameron Ritchie, because we saw Cameron Ritchie in a fine run in second place in that race number 3 there. And I was saying, this is a moment. They're going to have to pick the moment to get past Cameron. And then Cameron, something happened at the Exeter McIntyres. You landed in the gravel at Butch. Talk us through what happened there, pal.
You know what? It's the old problem, staring in your mirrors, not concentrating on what's in front. Honestly, it's unbelievable, the pressure. You know what? That was the most enjoyable meeting I've ever had, and I think it's absolutely brilliant. I just fair play to everybody, and just thanks for everybody for organising that. It's absolutely brilliant.
For those of you who don't know Cameron, you can see his profile picture on screen. He is actually a black and white cat with a Santa hat on. I've known you for a long time now, and I can see that you do actually look like that cat. So we need to get a proper profile picture for you next time, because you're running near the front now.
Well, I'll get one. But to be fair, you know what? I was enjoying watching what was in the mirrors as much as what was in front, because there was so much going on behind, and I'm going to have to watch all that back because it looked so entertaining. Really good fun.
Andy and myself say nothing but nice things about you. Yeah, but honestly we do. But Andy, as for Michael Weddle, I'm pretty sure we say nice things about him as well, don't we?
Yes, absolutely. Michael was a very, very strong drive once more, and joins us now. Michael, your initial reaction to that 3 thrilling races that we witnessed tonight?
I'm just going to echo what Cameron said. I really enjoyed it tonight. I thought it was some cracking racing. It was good racing with Fraser. So first off, congratulations to him.
Yeah,
it's just some proper good way to end it. Knockhill and touring cars.
And what we also need to know is, you're the type of guy I've seen quite a few times throw caution to the wind and throw up the inside. Have we seen a different type of Michael Weddle? Are you a little bit more reserved now in the world of esports? Because if that had been a Mini, there'd have been certain wing mirrors flying about everywhere and various other parts of cars.
Oh, it's a weird feeling in this, because you feel it in real life. I would just send one up the inside, but in this, I'm like, I'm going to hit someone. I'm so scared. But it doesn't cost me anything if I damage the car.
I know.
So
It's a finish line. Mm-hmm.
It's a weird feeling, but no, it was some cracking racing. I really enjoyed it. I mean, Fraser and I going side by side at points. I think I went side by side with Adam through the chicane on the first lap. I would never do that in real life because you end up on the firewall on the left. But it's just, really enjoyed it.
Cameron, another question for you. I asked the same question to Fraser. What cars would you like to see racing around Knockhill if it wasn't TCR cars? And Michael Weddle was in the room, so you can listen to this right now.
You've put me on the spot. I mean, I really like. I'm a favourite of the TCR cars and the MX5s. I love the MX5s. I don't know. I'm quite happy with the choice that was taken this year. Mind you, I like the Renaults, the Formula Renault stuff that we did. Was it last year or the year before?
Yeah, remember that now, yeah.
That was good. I enjoyed that. That'd be good fun there. And the Legends, of course, they were really good. So, yeah, I think we're hitting all the boxes with what we're doing.
There you go, Michael Weddle. Pat in the back for your car selection. Almost, apart from Fraser Williamson, had a little dig at you, but you weren't in the commentary box to hear that at that point. He wasn't happy.
He wanted the Jetta.
Well, he wasn't happy because he couldn't do donuts.
No, that wasn't a good selection.
Listen, guys, thank you very much for joining us in the commentary box. Michael, congratulations on a good second place in the championship. I know you fought right down to the end there. And Cameron, next time, stop looking in the mirror so much and we expect to see you on the podium.
Tell me, honestly. I'll do my best, but I'm really chuffed, and thanks to everybody. Well done. Cheers,
guys. We'll see you later on. Okay, let's get Stuart McFadden. And is that maybe Adam Brown or is it Adam Morrison? Which Adam is that in the waiting room? Let's get Adam Brown and we will get Stuart McFadden together. And that then rounds everybody that's been in the waiting room. First of all, Andy, who do you want to gang up on first, Stuart or Adam?
I'd be quite keen to get Adam Brown's thoughts on that race, or that event, I should say, because Adam, there was 3 action-packed races. You were very much at the front as well, and it's been quite an impressive campaign for you overall. So when you sit back and reflect on the 3 events here, how do you feel?
Well, I was Stuart was saying something just a couple of minutes ago. He was saying about this race that it was what could have been, and I feel like I'm feeling the same with this championship because
you stole my thunder, man.
I was on pole for the first race of the first round, and I got turned around and I scored about 10 points in the first round, and I was a bit disheartened from then. But I felt like in these last 2 rounds, a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. Got some great racing in.
That's what we like to hear, because I remember you were on pole position for that first race in Norway. And unfortunately, well, let's not talk about that because it did end horribly. And speaking of ending horribly, Stuart McFadden, how are you doing, pal? What happened at the hairpin?
I don't know. I'm really bad with the flu right now, so yeah, I'm absolutely hanging. So if my voice cracks in and out, then it's not me.
Nothing better than a bit of puberty kicking in there. I do like that. On you go, you talk away.
I'm 21. I'm not. It's not that. But yeah. Race 1 was I don't know where I pulled that lap from qualifying. I was like 4.5 seconds off, and I don't know how I done it. And then I put all my good work in the bin when I bogged it on the line. So I haven't even done it. The first laps I done like 20 laps last night, and I was like, I have to go to my bed.
Oh dear.
So yeah, then race 2 was again good. The end of race 1 was really, really good. Adam was touching on earlier that I had alien pace, which I don't think so. I don't think I did, but that made me really feel positive about race 2. With the pace that I had. And then I can't remember what happened in race 2, to be perfectly honest.
Did you not bog it down again? I'm afraid, from what I remember.
Probably. Yeah.
Sorry to remind you that.
Again. Yeah, no worries. And then race 3 again. I don't know why. I don't know how I ended up in the gravel. I do not have any clue how I ended up there. But anyway, just put my eyes forward and got to 4th from like 13th or something. And then someone didn't realise that the throttle goes both ways, and I ended up in the barrier.
I have to say, Andy Alston, when we were watching Stuart in that first race, the commitment he had to try and keep that gap where it was to Fraser and Michael, who were at the front, he just did not give up. He was like a dog with an issue and a bone. He just kept on going, and that's one thing we see with Stuart quite a lot, Andy.
Yeah, absolutely, and particularly at this circuit as well, because it's all about momentum really at Knockhill, and trying to just take, the corners come at you so fast, particularly in these TCR cars as well. And Stuart, is it about just building up the confidence and picking the moment, crucially, to make a move as well?
Oh yeah, 110%. Around Knockhill, you have to be thinking 3-4 corners ahead. As I was telling Scott last night, if you mess up turn 1 and messes up turn 2, which messes up turn 3, which messes up turn 4, like you get one corner wrong and you get the rest of them, the whole half the lap's done. So you have to really properly set yourself up for that move, for the moves. And in terms of momentum, Knockhill's definitely a track you have to build up to. You can't just jump on it and be fast straight away. You need to have that sort of progression, which is obviously really, really important if you want to be really consistent. Which hopefully I think I was pretty consistent in race 1, to be fair.
You're very consistent, very fast, and part of the Pure Sims team. Pure White Car, I do like that. But Adam, I need to speak to you as well about race number 2, where you could have played the amazing Shining Knight teammate and not have a look at Michael Weddle, but you decided to have a look at the hairpin and put Michael under a bit of pressure. Yes, you are teammates for Rethink Racing, but it really is every man for themselves. Am I correct?
Well, yeah, there's no team championship. We were in the same Discord call, and he asked me if we're racing for it, and I wasn't sure, and I just went for it without telling him. a bit rude of me, but yeah, luckily we didn't come together, and he kept his place. So.
And you're out there to race. You're fast enough to race with them, so there's no point just following.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I knew he was a tiny bit faster than me around the lap, so I knew that if I wanted to make the move, it would have to be a good one for it to stick, and I just didn't get that opportunity. So,
well, I have to say, for the commentary box, I absolutely loved you sticking it up the inside of him going in towards the hip, but it certainly raised a few eyebrows north of the old forehead. So congratulations for that one, and thank you very much for joining us in the commentary box in the waiting room, and to yourself as well, Stuart McFadden. Get well soon, buddy, and we hope that you get rid of that flu in time for Christmas. And the pair of you guys have a good festive period.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me again, and thanks to all the admins for making the championship one of the best championships I've raced in. So yeah.
Well done, guys. Thank you very much. And we need to thank Sim Broadcast, because without Pete and Mo back at base, myself, Duncan, Vincent and Andy Alston wouldn't have any of the tools that we have on screen in front of us just now, and it just wouldn't be worthwhile. Reese Motorsport Insurance, they've been great for backing this series, and the SMRC, thank you very much for putting on a great winter sport. It's coming up towards Christmas, guys, so please look after your loved ones. We hope you have a great time. We hope you've enjoyed the SMRC eSports Winter Cup. Andy Alston, I suppose it's been a fabulous, fabulous event, and we look forward to having some more in the new year, I would imagine.
Yes, absolutely. This has been, it's been a fantastic Winter Cup. There's been so many big talking points throughout the field as well. We've got so many regular faces taking part, but it's been also nice to see some new drivers coming in and making their mark on this series as well. And I think seeing so many different cars out there as well, so many different new tracks as well, it's been really, really great to see. The action's been terrific into the bargain as well, and hopefully we'll do it all again very soon.
Thank you very much, guys. From me, Duncan, Vincent, Andy Alston, Pete and Mo back at base. Take care, have a great Christmas and New Year, and we'll see you in the new year.